Shelton here. I'm here to talk about another great hymn of our faith tonight. It's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. This is an African American spiritual found in the United Methodist Hymnal, number 352. It's also found in Songs of Zion, number 110. It's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Nothing is more personal than prayer. It is our line of communication to God. Emotions run deeply in this form of devotion. Whether our prayers express joy or sadness, praise or lament, reconciliation or contrition, prayer touches the most inner depths of our being. Enslaved Africans created a genre of song born out of a harrowing experience of daily struggle, yet filled with hope that God was in control and would deliver them out of their bondage. It's me, O Lord, reveals the intimate nature of prayer. It's not my mother or my father, sister or brother, or the preacher or deacon that needs prayer. It's me. After praying for everyone else, it's my time to make my petition. I need God to do what I know God can do. St. Augustine of Hippo, a 5th century saint of African descent, describes prayer in this manner. For in most cases, prayer consists more in groaning than in speaking, in tears rather than in words. But he setteth our tears in his sight, and our groaning is not hidden from him who made all things by the word, and does not need human words. With all that the enslaved Africans endured, tears and groanings were likely commonplace in their prayer. Sister Thea Bowman notes, when African Americans met or congregated, they consoled and strengthened themselves and one another in sacred song, moans, chants, shouts, psalms, hymns, and jubilees. First African songs, then African American songs. In the crucible of separation and suffering, African American sacred song was formed. Eileen Gunther has identified over 40 primary themes that encompass the body of work that is spirituals. It's me, O Lord, falls into several categories. The text reveals that accountability and humility are required to live a Christian life. Familial and community relationships are present in the stanzas of this spiritual. Gunther states, in spirituals, I equals we in the African sensibility, where individuals are not responsible for the whole community, not only for themselves. Saint Cyprian of Carthage, a 3rd century saint of African descent, echoes this sensibility. Before all things, the teacher of peace and the master of unity would not have a prayer to be made singly and individually, as for one who prays to pray for himself alone. Our prayer is public and common. And when we pray not for one, but for the whole people, because we, the whole people, are one. Enslaved people turn to God for hope or deliverance. Below is a testimony of an unknown enslaved African. I pray now and just tell God to take me and do his will, for he knows every secret of my heart. He knows what we stand most in need of before we ask for it. And if we trust him, he will give us what we ought to have in good season. Former slave William H. Robinson recalls this about prayer. My mother had taught me to get on my knees and say my prayers as far back as I could remember. Yet I never knew the power there was in prayer. These testimonies reveal how prayer links us to God and how familial bonds teach and pass down prayer. This widely known Negro spiritual comes from the perspective of the first person singular. William B. McLean notes, the slave saw the assurance of salvation as largely a personal responsibility. Realizing imperfection, the people affirmed in this song a total and complete reliance upon the grace of God. Liberation theologian James Cone reveals, if God is known as the liberator of the oppressed from bondage, and Jesus is his Son, who is still present today, then the sinner man is every man who is in need of divine liberation. He is the person who stands and needs that old-time religion, or the one standing in need of prayer. Like most Negro spirituals, this text has many variations, and the music has many arrangements. This Negro spiritual is sometimes referenced by the title, Standing in the Need of Prayer. The text appeared in James Weldon Johnson and J. Roseman Johnson's The Book of American Negro Spirituals in 1925, with the stanzas as follows. "Tain't my mother or my father, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Tain't my deacon or my leader, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer." Another version of the text appeared in a collection edited by Natalie Curtis Berlin. "'Tis me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. O Lord, 'tis me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. 'Tis not my mother, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. O Lord, 'tis not my mother, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer." These variants transcribe the dialect, reflecting the speech of the enslaved Africans. Using the dialect created a performance that closely resembled slaves singing their indigenous songs. Singing spirituals in dialect by Caucasian choirs remains a topic of much debate. National Jubilee Melodies in 1916 printed the first version of this text as Standing in Need of Prayer. Appearances in Golden Bells in 1923, Songs of the Cross in 1924, and Seth Parker's hymnal in 1930 soon followed. After 1930, only the hymnal, published in 1942, published the text until it appeared in Songs of Zion in 1981. Since its inclusion in Songs of Zion, more than 20 hymnals included it in collections. Come Let Us Worship, the Korean English Presbyterian hymnal in 2001, translated It's Me, O Lord, into Korean. The various texts that appear in hymnals since 1981 may use dialect for standing. The stanzas may vary in small ways. For example, not my mother, not my sister, or not my brother, nor my sister. In the second stanza, sometimes elder replaces preacher. A fourth stanza appears in most current hymnals that does not appear in the United Methodist hymnal. Not the stranger, nor my neighbor. The Psalter hymnal in 1987 arranges the stanzas of this Negro spiritual as a call and response. Leader, not my brother, nor my sister, but it's me, O Lord. All standing in the need of prayer. Harry T. Burley's arrangement, "'Tis me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer," 1918, sets the text in D minor for the first 9 measures. Burley changes to F major in the refrain. The shift from minor to major denotes a subtle rhetorical change as the singer becomes aware of the need. William Farley Smith arranged most of the spirituals, including It's Me, O Lord, in 1986 for the United Methodist Hymnal, at the request of the Hymnal Revision Committee, for which he served as a consultant in African American music and worship. Whereas the version in Songs of Zion is almost totally diatonic, Farley Smith's arrangement approaches that of concertized spiritual with chromatic harmonies and, at one point, an independent bass line. The liturgical uses for this spiritual are numerous and varied. It works well as a simple prayer response or an invitational response to an altar call. The singing of the spiritual would be effective during the ritual gesture of the imposition of hands during the service of ordination, as the ordinands recognize that they are standing in the need of prayer. Sister Esther Mary, NCT, recalls the spiritual use during a baptismal celebration. It is solemn evening song at the mission of St. Simon in Cyrene near Cincinnati, Ohio. Father Wilson, the priest in charge, has just announced the service of Holy Baptism will be found on page 273 of the prayer book. With the acolytes, he goes to the center of the sanctuary. As he turns to the front, the words ring out, It's me, O Lord. Like an answering wave comes from the congregation of colored people, standing in the need of prayer. We all need prayer. This spiritual acknowledges this need. When singing this text, let us remember that the use of me really means we.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and listening to all these devotions based around the great hymns of faith. A lot of the information that you're hearing is drawn from the General Board of Discipleship website of the United Methodist Church. You can go to that to gbod.org and just write in the name of the hymn if you want to know more about it, and it'll pop up a thing that says History of Hymns. They have a whole series on there that you might find interesting. If we don't cover this month one of the hymns that you would like to hear, we'd encourage you to go to that site and read along. Thanks.